Peter here from New Edge Sharpening. This is part two of us Takemura sharpening. The first part, I thinned it a little bit using this Nanawa Professional 600 grit stone. So I've done that, and now I'm going to move on to the sharpening phase. Now these knives are capable of handling a very acute angle. So I'm going to try to sharpen this at about 12 degrees. Now 12 degrees is extremely acute. More put it this way, this is flat. The knife is flat on a stone, and I just want to raise it about there. That's not much. So here's a quarter, so it's even a little less than that. So that's how acute this is. So I'm going to do my best to maintain that angle, and we'll just see how sharp this knife can get. It hadn't been sharpened for about 2 or 3 years, so I've thinned it a little bit. It's looking pretty good. It was in great shape. Even for a knife that hadn't been sharpened in a couple, 2 or 3 years, it was still had a nice edge on it. There was no damage to it. It's a very hard knife. It's very and it's made from a powdered steel. They call it they've coined it R2 steel. Nice handle, very well made. So let's just start with the sharpening. So I'm going to start down in here in the heel. I'm laying the knife directly on the stone flat. I'm just going to push it up a little, the edge down a little bit, and I'm going to go for it. So I'm right, concentrating as best I can to keep that down that acute angle. It's less than a normal sharpening. Most of the knives I sharpen are Henkels, Wusthof, and Globals and stuff like that. So we don't sharpen those knives at 12 degrees. We sharpen those about 17 to 20, even more, 22 degrees. So this takes a little. My muscle memory doesn't have a memory at 12 degrees. So I'm developing a new muscle memory here. So we'll have a look and see how this is going. And I'm just dipping the knife in the water there, which when you see the knife go off. So it's starting to look nice. I've got a, you hear that burr on the other side. So I'm going to flip it over, lay the knife flat down on against stone. I'm going to raise it a little bit, and I'm going to start at the heel, putting pressure down with both fingers at the heel as I draw it back towards me. And I'm using edge trailing strokes here. You can use edge leading if you want, but I'm just used to this edge trailing. So I'm putting, as I draw the knife towards me, I'm putting moderate pressure on the edge, the area where the edge is, with my fingers, and I'm releasing the pressure as I'm pushing the knife away from me. Now edge leading would be the opposite. Push, 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 push. And that's awesome way to sharpen too. I do both, but I like the edge trailing right at the moment. I just find it a little more natural for me. And it's like as within sharpening, you do what's comfortable for you. You can do what you repeat. You can repeat easily over and over, and you develop your technique. So starting to feel good. Let's go at it again. Flat down, pressing at the edge, starting at the heel. I'm just working my way, dancing with my fingers up the edge. Really concentrating on keeping that spine down towards the stone. Has a tendency to raise when you're sharpening this low an angle. But this steel is capable of handling this angle. So I can feel the burr again. So I'm just going to be able to move to my other stone soon. This knife wasn't too bad, so I started at 600 grit. I would have, if it was any worse, I would have started at 400. And I'm just going along. Feel for the birds there a little bit. Now I'm going to reduce my pressure. Same angle. And just very light pressure now. Just making sure that there's no metal that's reluctant to leave this knife. I'll get rid of that with these very light passing of down the stone here. No pressure at all here, really, just the weight of the knife. Just really concentrating on that angle here, and I'll just finish off with this trailing motion. And as long as I get all the burr off when I've finished it, that's what's most important. If I don't get it all off here, that'll be fine. It'll come off. So I'll have a look at that edge, get a feel for it. Starting to get a nice polish there now, and it looks nice and even on both sides. I mean, it's hard to say, looking at a knife if it's at 12 degrees, but it feels nice and grabby. We'll see we'll see if it shaves any arm hair here. Yeah, so it's coming off pretty good there. So it's nice and sharp. Let's move to another stone. And this, sorry, the 2K Shapton glass. And if you're wondering what this in here is that we're sitting in, it's the Shapton pond. But it's just a fantastic means of keeping managing your messy water that you get from the shim sharpening. It's part of it, but I really enjoy it. So anyway, let's do it again on the 2000 grit stone. Same procedure, same angle. It's an impossibly low angle. And this is pretty quick process now. Done all the work. And the hard work was, the lion's share of the work was done on the course, the 600 grit stone. And you don't need to spend a lot of time on, don't linger on these water stones. I mean, and I don't want to use a lot of water stones either. I like to use 3. The more you throw in there, the more chance of screwing something up. So I think if you can get away with sharpening a knife on 3 or even 2 water stones, I think that's important. Although I have used 8 or 10 just because I wanted to, but it's not necessary. Now this, being this knife that it is made by Takamura Brothers. One of them, I can finish this off, and I can refine the edge a lot more than I would a typical European knife. So I'll probably take this up right up to 8000 grit. Or, just for the hell of it, since I've got it here, let's take it up to 16,000 grit. Let's see what happens. As long as I'm not going a lot, I'm not putting a lot of stones in between there. I'm not going to 2 to 4 to 6 to 8. I'm just going to go from 2 right up to 16. Let's just see what happens. Have a look at it. Looks beautiful. Really does look nice. And you can just feel it's just so grabby there. I love that feeling. It's really making a nice one. Nice edge. So I'll take that off. So we'll bring out the big fella. He's got a big brother, a 30,000 grit one, but that's one I have. Don't use it very often at all, and it's not absolutely necessary, obviously, for this water stone. I could finish this off probably at 5,000 or 6,000 grit, but since I've got this here, let's just do it. Let's go for it. So start with the heel. I sometimes start with the tip. That's why I started up there, but I'm going to start with the heel here again. Just raising it a tiny little bit there. You see the metal coming off. Moderate pressure. It's like forcing myself to keep that spine down to that angle. I know that I've raised it a couple times beyond the 12 degrees, but I'm doing my best to keep it down. This is freehand sharpening. If I wanted to get it, well, I wouldn't use the Edge Pro for this. But freehand sharpening it is what it is. As long as it's not 12 and 20 and 12 and 14. If it's 12 and 12.5 or whatever, that's okay. Now, just going to finish off this knife here. I'm not using any pressure here. Just weight of the knife pressure. I'm going to rinse the knife off, dry it off, see what she looks. See, it's got a highly polished edge, but it's still very grabby. I can guarantee you, and I don't have a tomato right here now, that will pass through a tomato without sliding over the skin. You just feel the edge of that. See this? So that's it. The Takamura, an R2 steel. It is a knife that I would love to own. I'm sure everyone would love it, and I found it very easy to sharpen. Whether it's exactly at 12 degrees, I don't know, but it's the most acute angle I've ever sharpened at, and I can tell you it's pretty freaking sharp. So I know that most of you guys watching this can probably do this too. But anyway, hope you enjoyed. Thanks for watching.